When you really think about that word darkness, it's more than just no light.
Whoa, absolutely. It's heavier.
It's that feeling of having no direction. Or, that paralysis you get when there's just zero clarity. The hope just kind of drains away.
And we're really good at decorating the dark. We know how to manage it, maybe, but not defeat it.
Exactly. We can package up the confusion, throw some quick fixes at it, but actually beating it, that feels like a huge task.
It does. And that feeling of being overwhelmed, it stops you in your tracks. You stop responding to your goals and you just start reacting to all the anxiety around you.
Which is precisely why we're doing a special 2 hosts, 1 message today. We were just completely captivated by the clarity and the powerful imagery in a sermon by Pastor J. Anthony Dargan.
Right. It's called Good News for Dark Times.
And the subtitle is brilliant. Punching Holes in the Dark.
Yeah. And this is actually part 3 of his Advent series, The Light That Pierces the Darkness. Our goal for you today is pretty simple. We want to pull out the practical wisdom from his message. Like, what is the framework for finding guidance when the path ahead just seems, completely gone?
Okay, let's just jump right in, because Pastor J. Anthony Dargan builds his entire case around one. Just one really simple and powerful illustration.
He does. He starts with a story from his neighboring town.
In Glen Ridge, New Jersey.
Exactly, where they still have these old historical gas lamps lining the streets. It's a throwback to a time before, the electric grid.
And that image is the launch pad.
It is. He uses it to tell a story about the playwright Robert Louis Stevenson. Right. Stevenson grew up in Scotland way before electricity lit up the streets, and he would watch these men called lamplighters.
The lamplighters, I love that image.
Every single evening, they'd come out with a ladder and a torch.
And just go post to post.
Yep. Climbing up, lighting each lamp one by one. It was this slow, steady work against the coming night.
And this is where the main idea comes from.
It is. As a little boy, Stevenson watched these men, and he turned to his parents and said something that stuck with Pastor J. Anthony. He said, "Look, they're punching holes in the darkness."
Punching holes in the darkness. That phrase it totally reframes the problem, doesn't it?
Oh, so.
Well, darkness feels huge, monolithic, like you need some giant floodlight to fight it. But punching a hole is something small. It's incremental.
That's the whole point. That's the core mission Pastor J. Anthony Dargan lays out. He says that's what we do every time we share hope in a hopeless place.
Or show someone a clear path when they're just lost in confusion.
We are punching holes in the darkness. It's a purposeful lamp-by-lamp effort.
It's less about trying to conquer the whole world and more about just lighting your post.
Exactly. And to ground this, he moves right into the historical context of the scripture he's using from the Gospel of John, chapter 8.
So where is this all happening?
Jesus is in the temple, and it's during the Feast of Tabernacles. Now, for you, the listener, this detail is really important because the whole point of this feast was to thank God for guidance, for water, for the harvest, but especially for the pillar of fire that guided them through the desert at night.
And this wasn't just a quiet, symbolic thing.
No, not at all. He points out that historical texts talk about these huge golden lamps being lit in the temple's court of women.
So bright they lit up the whole city.
Right. They were this massive, declarative reminder of God's guidance in the past, that pillar of fire from Exodus.
So you have this incredibly dramatic backdrop, these huge ceremonial lights celebrating past guidance. And right into the middle of that,
Jesus steps in and makes this unbelievable declaration. And this is Pastor J. Anthony's first main point. The declaration comes from communion, from preparation.
Now the declaration is John 8:12.
I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life.
He's essentially saying, all these lamps are celebrating a symbol of what I am right now.
Exactly. What the pillar of fire was then, I am now. It's the ultimate statement of fulfillment.
But the preparation part is what's really fascinating here.
It is. Pastor J. Anthony Dargan highlights that before this big public moment, before dealing with the woman caught in sin and confronting the hypocrisy,
He went to the Mount of Olives.
His place of prayer, solitude, communion with the Father.
So the insight here is that true light, true clarity, doesn't just react. It responds from a place of being prepared.
That's the pattern. Solitude first, then clarity, then the confrontation, then the declaration. Every true light is first lit in that quiet place.
And that also explains the power of the statement itself. He doesn't argue or debate. He just shows up and declares light.
Where the light stands, darkness has to back up. The declaration is enough. And that connects perfectly to Pastor J. Anthony's second point.
Which is that following the light changes how we walk.
Yes, and this is a really critical nuance in the language. He points out that Jesus didn't say his followers will never be in darkness.
He said they'll never walk in darkness.
Right. That shifts the focus from your circumstance to your behavior, your direction.
So you can be surrounded by tough stuff. Grief, uncertainty, a crisis at work.
But those things no longer determine your path, your movement. Your daily direction isn't dictated by the shadows anymore.
That is a huge distinction, because when you're walking in the dark, you stumble. You're just reacting to fear. But if you're following the light, even through a dark valley, you have a path.
You maintain forward movement. Think about it. It reduces your decision fatigue. Instead of analyzing every shadow, you just take the next step on the illuminated path.
So you can walk through a struggle, but not without guidance. Through disappointment, but not without purpose.
And this light of life isn't just about illumination. Pastor J. Anthony says it's about transformation.
What does he mean by that?
It's not just showing you the path, it's reshaping how you walk it. It changes how you think, how you forgive, how you endure. It exposes obstacles you wouldn't see on your own.
So the path itself changes your behavior.
Precisely. If you're on your own, you might stop at the first sign of failure. But when the light is ahead of you, it just shows you the next step.
Even if you can't see the whole road.
You don't need to. You just need to see the ground right in front of you. And that consistency is what defeats that feeling of being overwhelmed.
And that brings us right back around to the beginning. Back to the lamplighter.
It does. This is Pastor J. Anthony's final point. We are meant to carry the light and punch holes.
Jesus says, I am the light. But then he turns around and tells his followers, you are the light of the world.
The mission was delegated. The light was entrusted to us.
We're the modern lamplighters.
And what's so powerful about that analogy is it removes all the pressure of having to be some kind of superhero.
Right. You don't have to build a global movement overnight.
You just have to light your post.
But I think a lot of people feel like their one little action is just insignificant compared to all the darkness out there. You know, how does one person speaking hope in a cynical office really punch a hole?
That's where the consistency comes in. Pastor J. Anthony Dargan's point is we step into dark places not with arrogance, not with a plan to fix everything, but with simple, repeated acts of faith and love.
And the light from one lamp might seem small.
Until you realize it's enough for the person next to you to see their next step, its effect is contagious.
So the actionable steps are these behavioral shifts. Choosing compassion over judgment.
Speaking truth and love instead of staying silent.
And he says just showing up when it's easier to hide.
That's a big one. Darkness loves isolation. Sometimes punching a hole is as simple as just being present in a painful or confusing situation.
Bringing some calm just by being there.
And again, it's about the scope. Don't try to light the whole city. That's what leads to burnout. Just light your post.
And that's how the darkness gets pushed back. Lamp by lamp, life by life.
Heart by heart. You focus on the small, transformative things you can do today.
The final encouragement is so key. The light that pierces the darkness shines through you.
And that's the whole framework.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you? The core insight here is that clarity isn't something you wait for. It's something you find by consistently following a prepared path, even when everything around you feels dark.
Your job is to just focus on those small, incremental actions, lighting your one post.
And in his closing, Pastor J. Anthony Dargan brings in a final piece of scripture.
Yeah, he references Psalm 34.5, which says, "Those who look to him are radiant. Their faces are never covered with shame." It just reinforces that idea that focusing on the light source frees you up from self-doubt.
And that leads to a final challenging thought for all of us.
He mentions that the invitation to step into the light isn't a place of shame. It's a place of surrender and renewal. And if you think about that, it means surrendering the old ways of thinking, the fear, the paralysis that keep you stuck.
So the question for you is, what shadows are you standing a little too close to right now?
What habit, maybe distraction, maybe compromise, maybe fear, is keeping your own light dimmed?
What is that one small, difficult surrender you could make today that would lead to renewal and let you step fully into the light of your purpose and start punching some holes in your own environment?
That's the work.
A powerful thought to take with you. We want to thank you for joining us for this Two Hosts, One Message, and we encourage you to keep exploring that idea of punching holes in the darkness right where you are.
When the world feels heavy, God still sends good news. and it's strong enough to punch holes in the darkness. This week's Two Hosts, One Message reflects on Pastor J. Anthony Dargan's message, Good News for Dark Times, subtitled Punching Holes in the Darkness, Advent Part 3 of the Light that Pierces the Darkness. If you've been battling fear or fatigue or frustration, let this word remind you, darkness is real, but it's not final. God's light still breaks through. Catch the sermon replay and worship with us live on Facebook at Congregational Church of God NYC or YouTube at CCOGNYC. Join us in person for worship live Sundays at 10 a.m. at Congregational Church of God, located at 1889 Amsterdam Avenue between West 153rd and 154th Streets. Here's a holiday update. We'll be taking a break for the holidays, and Two Hosts, One Message, along with the midweek development series, will be returning January the 7th, 2026. We hope to see you then. But this Wednesday, join us at 7 p.m. and email us at CCOGNYC@AOL.com for Zoom access info. Help us reach 1,000 followers. It's almost December the 31st. Share this episode and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Let's flood the timeline with the Word. Support our ministry by giving. You can use PayPal or Zelle with our email, CCOGNYC@AOL.com, or Cash App with $CCOGNYC, or Givelify. Search for Congregational Church of God, 1889 Amsterdam Avenue, New York, New York, 10032. Stay rooted in the truth. Stay lit in dark times. Until next time, this is Two Hosts, One Message. Thanks for listening.